You know that loaf of bread on your kitchen counter? What if I told you its story is more epic than most Hollywood blockbusters? Seriously. We're talking about bread today, but this isn't just about food. This is the story of a hero, an adventurer, and a civilization builder. Let's dive in.
Just think about it for a second. That humble slice of toast you had this morning, or that sandwich you packed for lunch. What if it has a secret history? A story that's way more dramatic and wild than you could ever imagine. Because, believe it or not, it absolutely does.
And I'm not exaggerating one bit. We're talking about a story that started way back in the Stone Age. A story that includes world records of an absolutely mind-boggling size, and a story that has literally gone to outer space. So, where in the world does a story this huge even begin?
Well, like a lot of the best discoveries in history, this one starts completely by accident. Long before there were bakeries, long before there were recipes, there was just a simple, very lucky mistake.
That's right. Picture this. Thousands and thousands of years ago, somebody, somewhere, mixed up some ground-up grain and water. They probably got distracted and just left it sitting out for too long. And then, it started to bubble. Instead of tossing it, they got curious and cooked it. And boom! In that moment, the very first loaf of bread was born.
Okay, this timeline really puts things into perspective. People were making flatbreads more than 10,000 years ago. Now think about the pyramids in Egypt, right? We see them as the definition of ancient. Well, they're thousands of years younger than bread. It was actually the ancient Egyptians who took that early concept and figured out how to make bread rise, completely changing the game forever.
But here's where the story gets even bigger. Bread didn't just fill bellies. It fundamentally changed how human beings live. This simple food became one of the cornerstones of society itself.
I mean, think about it. Before we could farm grains, humans were nomadic, always moving. But once we figured out agriculture, we had something brand new and revolutionary: extra food, a surplus. For the first time, we could stay in one place. That stability allowed us to build homes, which turned into villages, and those villages grew into the world's first cities. All of it, really, built on a reliable supply of bread.
And if you want to know just how important bread was, get this. In ancient Egypt, it wasn't just food, it was money. Actual currency. The workers who built the Great Pyramids were often paid for their labor in loaves of bread. Can you imagine getting your paycheck in sourdough?
This is also where that famous phrase comes from. Breaking bread with someone. It means so much more than just eating a meal together, right? For thousands of years, sharing a loaf of bread has been this powerful universal symbol of friendship, community, and making peace.
All right, so from its ancient origins, bread's journey was just getting started. It spread all across the globe, and with every new culture it met, it transformed into something new.
So take a guess. How many different types of bread do you think there are in the world? 20? 50? The real number is pretty staggering. There are well over 100 distinct kinds of bread out there.
You've got the crusty baguette in France, the soft and chewy naan from India, that perfect little pocket of a pita in Greece. And hey, it's not all savory. We've got sweet loaves like banana bread and pumpkin bread, which is basically cake that we've all agreed is perfectly acceptable for breakfast. Every culture has made bread its own.
And get this, bread's journey hasn't been limited to planet Earth. It has been to space. You can't have regular bread in zero gravity, because the crumbs would float everywhere and could break super-sensitive equipment. So what they do? Scientists invented a special crumb-free tortilla-style bread just for astronauts. How amazing is that?
So we've gone from a tiny crumb-free space bread to, well, let's go to the other extreme. What's the absolute biggest loaf of bread ever created?
All right, prepare to have your mind blown. A team of bakers in Italy made a single loaf of bread that was over 4,000 feet long. To put that in perspective, that's longer than 10 American football fields all laid end to end. And for everyone using the metric system, that's about 1,220 meters. No matter how you measure it, that is one ridiculously long loaf of bread.
So, we've seen the history, the culture, the incredible records, but what's the actual magic behind it? What is the secret ingredient that turns that dense paste into something so light and delicious?
Well, the secret is a tiny living organism called yeast. It's a microscopic, friendly fungus that is literally all around us. Remember that first accidental bread? It was wild yeast just floating in the air that made it bubble up. Today, bakers use specific types for more predictable results, but it's all the same biological magic.
So how do these little guys work their magic?
It's actually a pretty simple process. First, the yeast starts to eat the sugars in the flour. As it eats, it releases tiny bubbles of gas. It's basically burping. Those bubbles get trapped inside the stretchy dough, and as millions of them form, they inflate the whole thing, making the bread rise and giving it that wonderful, fluffy texture we all love.
So from a Stone Age accident to the tables of ancient Egypt, from spaceships orbiting Earth right back down to your kitchen counter, the story of bread is really the story of human ingenuity. It really makes you wonder, what other epic tales are hiding in the everyday things all around us?